Hello my friends, my name is Rich and welcome to Greatest Rock and Metal. If you like what you see on Greatest Rock and Metal, please press the red button to subscribe. And on these episodes I talk about what are for me the greatest bands, albums, gigs that I have experienced over my many years of listening to rock and metal. Today I'm going to take you back to 1992. You can see from some of the shirts that are around me the bands that were just starting to have great careers or were in the middle of having a great career around that time period. We had the likes of Nine Inch Nails, Nirvana, Faith No More, Pantera, and this band, Rage Against the Machine. And it's this band that I'm going to be featuring today. One thing that's interesting about our selection of shirts is what a variety of musical styles there were in rock and metal at this particular time. And I loved all of them. They were all brilliant. One of the things that was very fascinating though about Rage Against the Machine is they had mixed in a way that hadn't quite been done before, rap and metal. And when I first saw the video on Headbangers Ball in 1992 for the track Killing in the Name, I, like many others, were like, wow, what is this? And I'll talk more about that particular track a little bit later. So, Rage Against the Machine then, formed in 1991 by four guys from the Los Angeles area, Zach De La Rocha, the vocalist, Tom Morello, guitarist, Timmy Comerford on bass, and Brad Wilk on drums. And very, very quickly they rose to success. Their debut album, the self-titled debut album, Rage Against the Machine, was released the following year in 1992, and they exploded in popularity. They were not a very prolific band when it came to releasing new music, and actually by 2000 it was all over because De La Rocha decided to leave the band, and the other members of the band went off and formed Audioslave with Chris Cornell. Then a little bit later the band it's difficult to say reform because it's very sporadic reformations. They'll do a few tours, festivals, and big gigs here and there, but there's nothing being concrete in terms of them being back together. And there's certainly been no new music since that ending in the year 2000. What has been interesting is that last year they decided they were going to announce a world tour, something they'd not done for a long time. Like I said, they've done these sporadic tours, but this was to be a big world tour, which was going to start with dates in North America, but because of COVID, that got knocked on the head. So we'll see what happens with that. So, Rage Against the Machine then. There isn't much to talk about them musically, but what they have left behind is a fantastic selection of songs. And the vast majority of their great songs appear on the debut album. This is a special edition of the debut album that was released for the 20th anniversary of it, and we'll take a quick look inside this box set that we have here. There's a little essay about the band, postcard with a few words from the members. Then there is this double-sided poster with one of their most famous live shots on the back of that one. We have a brilliant booklet that's got various photos and essays, thoughts about the band. Very much a historical piece of the band at that particular time in their career. And then we move on to the good stuff. This is the copy of the album vinyl. And in here we have a selection of CDs, DVDs. We got the remastered album, debut album on CD, along with a CD of demos and rarities. And there's DVD of the famous 2009 concert, free concert that was done in the UK. And why did they give a free concert in the UK in 2009? Well, to cut a long story short, there was a campaign to get Killing in the Name song to be the number one, the Christmas number one in the UK charts. Those of you who don't know about the Christmas number one in the UK, it's always been a coveted top of the charts single to achieve. And for many, many years prior to 2009, that song had always been one of the pop idol type of songs. You know, those variety shows. You've got American Idol and all the other idol things. Well, the British version, they were always going to number one every year without fail. So a couple of fans, Rage fans, put together a Facebook campaign and amazingly galvanized the UK Rage fans and rock and metal fans, not just Rage fans, to buy the single, and it became the Christmas number one in 2009. As a thank you, Rage performed a free concert in London to thank the fans for doing that. And that gig, there's a video of that gig on here. There's also a video of their first ever recorded gig, and various other bits and pieces of live shots, and all the promo videos, not just from this album, but from their career. All their promo videos are included as well. So a great package overall. But it's this that I want to feature. Their best album by a long way. There is not a bad sorry about that. There is not a bad track on this album, and I always pick my favourite four. It's been tough to pick a favourite four from this, but it's a job I got to do, so I have done it. The first track I will pick is, of course, the standout song, the song that got me into the band, that got many millions into the band, Killing in the Name. Fuck you, I won't do what you tell me. Even if you don't like it, you got to know it. I think there's 17 fucks in this song. And infamously, again in the UK, there was a UK DJ who on the Radio 1 national radio show made the mistake of playing the uncensored version on daytime radio. Oh dear, oh dear. Great for us fans, but not so good for his career. So Killing in the Name, it's the song most associated with Rage Against the Machine, and rightly so. It's a brilliantly unique, aggressive song. And one of the things that makes this album so apt 20 something years later, and in fact, what are we getting on to? Wait, we're getting on to nearly 30 years now. In fact, what year are we in? Next year! Next year will be the 30th anniversary of this album. That's amazing to think of that time has gone like that. Wow. So anyway, I digress. So, nearly 30 years on, nearly all of the themes on this album, the lyrical themes on this album, are just as relevant today as they've ever been. The lyrical theme on Killing in the Name, racism, and we all know the massive drive that there's been to try and cut out racism this year across the world, sparked by that George Floyd killing in America. The next track I will choose will be Bullet in the Head. Bullet in the Head! The most aggressive track on the album, for sure. And what's interesting about this track is that this track is, I think, or my take on it, is very much about the power that the media can have and how the government can use the media to control the people or to influence people. And again, it's been interesting to see the rise of social media and the power that social media has amongst the younger people, for sure, nowadays, and the algorithms that decide on our computers and our mobile phones and our tablets about what we will read, because the algorithms just provide us with the things that we want to see, not necessarily that we don't want to see or that we could learn new things about. And so the media does very, very much have a massive influence on our lives today. The next track I would choose, wow, this one, Know Your Enemy. This is up there with one of the best tracks on the album. I probably put it slightly behind Killing in the Name. Brilliant, brilliant track. There's a couple of guest stars on this track as well. From Jane's Addiction, Stephen Perkins plays some percussion, and there is a little bit of vocals from Tool's vocalist James Maynard Keenan. Did I say that correct? I can't remember now. Anyway, Tool's vocalist, and yeah, he provides. There's a bit of a breakdown section in the song, and in fact, most of the Rage Against the Machine songs, they have these sections, the quiet, loud sections, where they'll then go into some massive screaming or some screaming guitar solos, and Know Your Enemy is no exception. We get Maynard from Tool with the lyrics, and he builds it up to the big refrain, time has come to pay, and then we get Morello kicking in with that da 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 da, and one of his widdly guitar solos. And in fact, Morello's guitar solos, we need to talk about Tom Morello and his guitar solos. One of the other things that was fascinating about Rage Against the Machine is that here we were seeing the birth of a new guitar hero. Now, what was fascinating about this at the time is this was the time of grunge, and grunge was very anti-guitar solos. But Morello, he's very much a classic rock guy. Hey, one of Morello's favourite bands is Kiss. So he loves his guitar solos, and he's making almost melodic memorable guitar solos. And what was unique about Morello, and still is to this day, is he would use lots and lots of different effects pedals to create all sorts of unique sounds from his guitar. Brilliant guitarist. Very underrated, I think, for what he can do. And then the final track I would choose is the last track on the album, titled Freedom. Some brilliant vocals on this from Zach, and the story of this one is it's very much about trying to support the Native American Indians movement to protect their lands in America, and a great video that goes along with this about the leader of one of those movements. I think the guy was called Leonard Peltier. So check it out. Check it out. There you have it. Rage Against the Machine, their brilliant debut album. Next, I'm going to talk about the first time that I saw Rage Against the Machine live. But before we do that, let's take a look at Rock T-shirts by the Sea. Hope you enjoyed that. So, the first time I got to see Rage Against the Machine live was in 1996. Here's the ticket from that gig, and it was at London's Brixton Academy. What was the price of the ticket? £8 English to see Rage Against the Machine. Brixton Academy, for those of you who don't know it, it holds about 5,000 capacity, most of whom are standing. There is an upstairs seated balcony. And I was downstairs amongst the masses, and one of the great things about a Rage Against the Machine song is that it's almost impossible to stand still during it. They've all got brilliant beats and parts to jump around and sing along, and the whole gig was like that. The tour was for their second album, for the Evil Empire album, and so the set list was fantastic. I think it was something like 7 tracks from the debut album and 6 tracks from Evil Empire. All the best songs from across those 2 albums were played, and also they played an unreleased song, or unreleased at that time, called Zapata's Blood. I'm not sure if I've said that correctly, but that's how I'm saying it. And it was a great gig. The atmosphere inside was electric. At this time, Rage were a very popular band across the world, and to be able to see them in such a relatively intimate environment was a great thing to behold. And I mentioned about Tom Morello and his guitar playing skills. I want to talk a little bit about Zach as a frontman. Now, like I said right at the beginning, it's quite unusual, or it was unusual at that time, to have a pure rap artist mixed with what were really a pure metal band, or certainly they were a metal band. You take away the vocals, you can really hear the metal within the songs. And De La Rocha did a brilliant job in delivering his raps in the song, and he was a superb frontman. He doesn't stop moving. He's not the Ozzy Osbourne style of frontman, where it's go fucking crazy, blah blah blah. He doesn't need to. He goes crazy himself. The songs are crazy, and it's that energy that the band brings. And in fact, all 4 members of the band bring it. Timmy on bass is constantly bobbing up and down as well, and you've got Brad Wilk, a very theatrical drummer as well, but not theatrical in a hair metal way, just in terms of the way he really pounds at the drums. And but De La Rocha is a very commanding frontman. He doesn't need to say very much, but it's the way he carries himself and the way he delivers the songs with such fantastic passion, real great passion. You can feel the passion he has for the lyrics that he's singing. So it was a great concert, and I was lucky enough to see Rage many times after that. Unfortunately, I didn't get a ticket for that 2009 gig I was talking about earlier. That was done as a lottery, and a free lottery, and I just wasn't lucky enough. But very soon after that gig, just literally days after that gig, they played a gig at the Download Festival at Donington, and I saw that one then in 2009. So I've been lucky to see Rage several times actually, and hopefully get to see them one more time if this COVID will get out of our way and give us our lives back. So there you have it. That's my thoughts on Rage Against the Machine. I can't pick a favourite 4 albums because their discography only consists of 3 studio albums and one, it's a studio album, but it's a covers album, all cover songs. So I can't really whittle it down. The other studio album that I've not mentioned is this one, Battle of Los Angeles, which was their 3rd and final studio album of all new material that they had written. So who knows, hopefully in the future we will get some new music from Rage, because there's a real lack of it, and when they do produce it, it's great stuff. Please press the red button to subscribe to see future episodes of Greatest Rock and Metal. And until next time, remember, as always, we rock!